Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the August 7th meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals for the town of Ossining. My name is Sal Carrera, Chairman, and joining me this evening are members of the Zoning Board of Appeals, Town Attorney, Building Inspector, Secretary. We have one hearing this evening, so for the record, please introduce yourselves.
Lynn Farrell, member of the zoning board.
David Krieger, member.
Tom Wills, member.
Sandy Nelly, secretary.
I'm John Turnquist, building inspector,
Chris Giordano, attorney.
board member.
Thank you. I will read the public notice and then request the applicant or the representative to give a brief explanation of the relief sought. Anyone that has comment should raise their hand, anybody in the audience or at home, with their name and address. After the comments are received, the board will try to render a decision this evening. Public notice. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing of the Town of Ossining Zoning Board of Appeals will be held on Monday, August 7th, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. on the application of Bonnie and Evan Rogers in person at the John Paul Rodriguez Operations Center, 101 Route 9A, Ossining, New York, 10562, and by Zoom following the link. The property is located at 13 Tappan Terrace in the unincorporated area of the town of Ossining, identified on the tax map of the town of Ossining as section 90.18, block 2, lot 6, in R15, one family resident zoning district. The applicant is seeking an area variance from the terms of the zoning code of the town of Ossining, chapter 200, R-15, one family resident district, bulk regulations in order to extend patio pavers into the required setback around the swimming pool. Application materials and plans prepared by Michael A. Priscillo, AIA, Yorktown Heights, New York, dated July 12th, 2023, are available for public inspection at the Town of Ossining Building Department and available online. All interested persons are invited to attend the public hearing to be heard on this matter. The public can send written comment by email to the Building Department of Town of Ossining.com or regular mail to the Town of Ossining Zoning Board of Appeals, Post Office Box 1166, Ossining, New York, 10562. Please feel free to contact our office by phone if you need any additional information regarding the zoning board meeting. By order of the Zoning Board of Appeals, Sal Carrera, Chairman, dated July 27th, 2023. Just for the edification of our board members, this is a request for an area variance. And what we have to take into consideration are the following: whether an undesirable change will be reduced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties will be created by granting of the area variance, whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance, whether the requested area variance is substantial, whether proposed variance will have an adverse effect on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district, and whether the alleged difficulty was self-created. This factor is relevant to the decision, but the fact that the difficulty was self-created does not preclude granting of the area variance. Mr. Rogers, if you can give us a brief explanation of what you want to do.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mr. Building Inspector, and attorney for the town. That's everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yes, my name is Evan Rogers. I live at 13 Tappan Terrace. And for about 30 some odd years, we had an above ground pool, had a C of O. The pool did collapse and had to be removed. But during the years before the pool collapsed, there was extensive poison ivy between myself and number 15 that I'm very sensitive to poison ivy, and when I get it, if I have to take prednisone, I get leaks in my eyes. I have retinal problems. So when we removed the pool, we went to Orange County Pool. We were looking for a replacement, and they were told they had something that they didn't have 33 years ago that we knew of, which is what's called an on-ground pool. So you can have an above-ground pool like we had, but you're 5 feet above the ground. Everybody can see it coming down the hill. You can have an in-ground pool that we didn't have $200,000, or you can have an on-ground pool, what they call it, which meant we would dig an area, and we put up a retaining wall on the side, a retaining wall on the back. We put up a fence on the side, we put up the kind of pool fence that everybody says you're supposed to put up, it self-closes, we bought an alarm. We had an architect prepare all the plans, and I was a little bit surprised, but that they said, when Mr. Inspector came over, he said, well, you know, this is a patio, we have a setback rule, it's 10 feet. So I went and I looked up on the town what it says about patio, and it's considering that it is an uncovered impervious surface. But what we've been planning to put in is what they call pervious stone, which we see in a lot of applications. It's cooler to the touch. It will absorb the water, so there won't be any water that runs to anybody else's property. Myself, I think that rest is the worst thing in the world you want to have around a pool, because kids come out of the pool, they're running, they could fall, they could slip, and they can get hurt. It's something that's cool to the touch. Yes, I know the pool is exactly 10 feet from number 15. Number 15, they're very nice. They like to swim in the pool. They're not going to come here and complain. In fact, she is a pool instructor, the wife. Delightful little child that we can't have you over yet. We have to get our certificate of occupancy. So we had been looking at regular pavers. And when I looked over here, we said, hey, it's the same amount of money to put in what they call the pervious pavers. I think everybody here has seen them in different locations. I brought something from an outfit that makes them, that has them all over the place. And they call their company Hydro Papers. You may have heard of the name. So I'll just let everybody look. I'll start from the young lady. Everybody can pass it along. I did that for brownie points. I'm
Hey,
sorry.
you got it, you got it. Nobody's called me young in about 50 years.
I did it shamelessly, and I hope it counteracts the tick you put on me to take me off my. But in all seriousness, this is a very, very big project for us. You know, we thought we followed all the steps, and we like to continue to follow all the steps. There are other houses on the street that have pools. I couldn't tell you what the setbacks are because they have fences. I know there are other houses that have pavers and things right up to the property line. I'm not going to rat them out. That's not my place. But I know that what I am asking to do is something that will not flood anybody. It will only add to the character of the neighborhood. It'll certainly add to my children and my grandchildren's enjoyment of the property. And we're just asking for the variance to be approved so we can take the last steps.
I have a question. Is this the stone that absorbs water?
Yes.
Yeah, I have that.
Pass it right through.
I have for my dogs. I have the water dish.
Pass it
And
right through.
So that you don't get pooling of water.
Right, it just
and then
sucks it
then
right
someone
up.
slips.
And that I thought was the main objection in the code when it was written, because they used the word an uncovered impervious surface. So if I'm not going to be a impervious surface, I think I've brought myself out of what was the concern, and it's a good concern. But I think I've solved that problem.
Yeah,
The pavers, as I read everything and I saw all the pictures, basically the pavers are going right up to the fence. They're not going beyond the fence, so it's all enclosed within your property.
Yes, and there's about a 6-inch, because we have the fence sitting on the
Sitting in
blocks
front
are like
of-
this. And they're in the center of the fence. So it's probably about 6 inches back from the, probably closer to 18 inches from the exact property lines on the other side of it, but it will go to the edge of the pavers, and it'll be flush with the pool, because we don't want a tripping hazard
right.
going into the pool, and we don't want a tripping hazard, and I want something that's, you know, I walk around there right now, there's things starting to grow.
Yeah,
You
Still
know,
gotta vacuum the pool these days.
yeah, I have to vacuum, because we had 99-degree days, so I was, you know, trying to kill algae and stuff, but frustrating that he can't use it, but you know, hopefully very soon I can use it.
Any questions from the board?
And I
No,
think
very,
someone came by.
very clear.
Yeah, I visited the site.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody from online?
No, Dave O'Neill is not.
Okay, thank you. No one, Margaret?
No attendees, Margaret? Okay.
No, no questions.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second,
Aye.
all in favor of granting the variance pursuant to the criteria for area variance that was read previously?
Aye.
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 Yes.
You can move forward and hopefully we'll come over for a swim.
We need one
Thank
of
you
those
very much.
things like I have on my front window still.
I'm sorry.
We need one of those permit things like I have on my front window.
You mean for the variance?
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
No,
No. Okay. so
nothing.
They didn't want to be on the wrong side.
Yeah, I hear you. You have a good rest of the summer. Enjoy.
There you're full.
Hope the rain will stop.
Okay, thank you for coming in.
I think it's over
Thank you.
there.
Want to tell them that. Talk about it. Have a wonderful night.
Thank
You
you so
too
much.
now.
Enjoy the rest of
Thank
the
you. Have a
summer.
good one.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Is that it?
Wow.
To the point. Thank you very much for your time.
Getting it down very
We won't see
smooth.
you until October, November, December, depends on how active John is.
We're gonna be huge. All right.
Enjoy the rest of the summer.
Yes.